Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today, Junior. Anyways, guys, today we have another episode of Some Nerdy Stuff.
Yes, sir.
With your two hosts, Jared
and Alan.
And today we are going to be doing a review for A Quiet Place 2.
Yes, we are.
And also Army of the Dead, now that you finally got to see it.
True that.
Let's start with Army of the Dead because, it's the older one and there's so much I want to talk about with Quiet Place 2, but
I concur.
Army of the Dead, what did you think?
Thoughts, concerns? I thought the movie was pretty good. I liked some of the direction they were going in. I would have loved to see more of how things came about for the zombies.
Yeah. So spoiler alert for both of these movies. Yeah. So if you haven't seen them, go check them out. Go to the theater. They're fucking amazing.
Or Netflix, which is where I'm.
Yeah, Netflix for Army of the Dead.
Yeah. Like is it how zombies can fuck? Like how she get pregnant? You know.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. I kind of like the way he shot it before, like when she first gets captured, and like he goes freaking out for her, and the way he had like certain girl, like the one zombie had like certain girls still like kept in a room. I'm like, oh, like there's y'all trying to procreate. You know what I mean? Like that's what was like my guess at first. Just the way like. Just knowing Zack Snyder does weird things, so I'm like, oh, is this the different thing people were talking about? And when they finally reveal, like, when they get the fetus out of her, first off, just an insane image. Like,
yeah, no, he like cut that shit.
A fetus zombie, bro.
Like a little fetus zombie, yeah.
But I loved it because I think it's, obviously with everything Zack Snyder's gone through, like it's nice to see him get a W that people actually give him his flowers for. You know what I mean? Where it's like, when BVS came out, he had his fans, but a lot of people still were shitting on him about it. Meanwhile, it's like, I brought you Batman and Superman to the screen. Like, did my best. Sorry, studio wouldn't let me do certain shit. You're welcome. I did what I thought was cool.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see him, like, going back to the zombie genre since Dawn of the Dead in 2005, like, where he also switched up the zombie genre, where it's like, a lot of the way that zombie movies are kind of shot now kind of start from, like, that and 28 Days Later. So it's like... It's cool to see him come back to the zombie genre, and he said he's had this idea since Dawn of the Dead. Like he's always had like this idea in the back of his mind of like a heist film and Vegas. And I like the way that the zombie outbreak happened in this one, where it's like it didn't get around the whole world yet. Like
they were able to contain it.
Yeah, like at least in certain areas. So it's like some people have had experiences with them, some have no experience. Again, the amount of different zombies that he brought in, like I just thought was. Again, the whole thing I just thought was just done really cool. Like
I thought the whole when they're trying to get to that maze of zombies that are hibernating. That was like cool.
It's like he was doing things where it's like, all right, we've seen stuff like this before, but we haven't seen it with a zombie. So again, like a giant tiger coming to attack you is one thing. A dead tiger coming to attack you.
That motherfucker was crazy.
Yo,
killed that nigga.
That again, and then like immediately when I saw that, my mind just went down like a whole rabbit hole of like. All other zombie now, like a zombie elephant. Oh man! You know how hard it'd be to kill like a zombie giraffe. Imagine having to kill a zombie giraffe.
Fuck
that neck just comes around, just swings your ass
like a zombie like cheetah or panther, one of those fast motherfuckers you can't even like run away from. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. That would be scary.
Word.
That would be really fucking scary.
What about a zombie ostrich? Like I'm sure I could find a zombie ostrich, but like those motherfuckers are fast.
That's what I'm saying. I was just thinking of the Kevin Hart joke, but now it's just like it's a zombie one instead.
I was facing this way,
but his head was. But I also loved the. I thought like just the cast. I thought they all did a great job. I thought Dave Bautista, did a good job as the leading guy. And I'm still in complete awe of how they got Tig in all her scenes. And the fact that she never met any, like now you see what I'm saying when you see where it's like it's so seamless. Like it seems like she was there
for the most part. It was, but like yeah.
Like again, like you could tell when it came to scenes where it's like, okay, now we're gonna put her in this scene where she's by herself, and it's like
it looks good. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
That's like probably the only scene that I said kind of looks kind of weird is when they first got to the casino, and they're all kind of like game planning what's gonna happen, and you can clearly tell like she's not like there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think if I had to rewatch it again, but I'm pretty sure I noticed that the first scene where she shows up and they're on the opposite sides of the fence.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you
get the audio.
You can see his mouth. I think he says he, and then they dub it for she because originally it was Chris D'Elia. So I just thought it was. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah.
Her character was kind of my favorite. Just like immediately, like, oh yeah, man, what? Like that much money? Yeah, of course. What the fuck? Whatever you need me, I don't care. Like just give me the money. Like. And I loved her attitude of like, So I'm like the second most important one. Like you gotta have the safecracker here, but you need me to fly you out. So I'm gonna just also, like go chill over here.
Speaking of the niggas, though, that safecracker dude was a real. Even though he started kind of pussy, like he was like a real.
But every time he screamed, I was dying. It was the funniest shit in the world. Funny. I wanted like a whole spin off with him and the black nigga with the
with the chainsaw thing.
Yeah, like. I want a whole spin off of the two of them.
Which I thought was cool too, how they ended that as well.
Yeah.
How he's like the only one kind of like survived, but like he got bit.
And now I'm like, like that was another great ending of just like, you can interpret it yourself, but you know, clearly you can see where this is gonna go.
Word.
And I would love to see him return to this world. I think, well, actually they are. They have an animated prequel series coming with Joe Manganiello, so that'll be really dope. So other than that, though, overall, especially for a zombie movie, I personally would give it an 8 out of 10, just in terms of it's fun, it's great action, it does something different that I haven't seen before, and it was entertaining. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that I looked at as like, I need a deep story here. Like, no, to me, it's exactly what it needed to be.
I concur.
So
I would also say 8 out of 10, for the exact same reasons, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Very much enjoyable. It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's something different that we don't really see from zombies. All the characters.
And it's pretty funny, too.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, too. A lot of the characters had, like, a bunch of shining moments. I love all the badass scenes. Like, I think she was one of the first chicks that died.
Yeah.
Like, she went out like a G, bro. Like, she killed mad motherfuckers, bro.
And then just got crushed, right? Like, that whole shit.
I mean, they all pretty much went out like a G, except for the one chick that was into Dave Bautista when she got her head
I felt that was crazy.
So
I didn't see that coming. I did not see that. I was like,
whoa,
okay.
They killed that shit.
And again, like, you see what I mean? Where it's like, when zombies can dodge your tactical hit, it's like, nah, bro. Like, I'm not fighting you. Like, y'all just take me. Just take me.
But good thing you're Dave Bautista, you can just pick up a nigga and throw him. Like, you know,
Word.
like
when he went on a rampage, like, again, like, the action was so great.
It was very fun.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, that was our review of Army of the Dead. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments below, and let's get to the main movie this week.
The main event.
A Quiet Place 2.
Yeah.
It's
one of the better sequels I've seen in a very, very, very long time.
I'm in such awe of this movie. Like, this movie is just like, this for me exceeded my expectations. Like, I knew it was going to be great because people forget this was the first movie to get pushed after the pandemic. And so it was supposed to come out that week, and you know, the critics had seen it, the reviews were ready to be, you know, lifted, people had already seen it and we're loving it, and we're saying like it's as good as the first one. And then after seeing it, it's like this is better than anything I could have imagined the sequel to be, because it subverted my expectations in every way, in every single, like, my original prediction of the movie was, I thought based on the trailers it was going to be, okay, they're gonna leave, you know, the house now, and because the trailer showing all the other people, you're like, oh, they're gonna find some kind of community. And the fact that they didn't, like, it's just this, it kind of, you know, the story kind of had a Last of Us feel to me.
Okay.
Where it's just that, like, it's very dreary, it's very dreary, and it's not gonna go the way you're thinking the story is gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so it gave me like the feeling of Last of Us 2, where it's like, you got all hyped about the first one, you see the trailers for the second one, you think in your head what it's going to be, and then you play the game and then you're like, oh, like, no, this story's going in a completely different direction. And that's what I felt like with this story, where it's like, so again, spoilers, so we start the movie off immediately, we start off with day one, which I'm not going to lie to you, I was so invested in that first, like, that opening prologue, that I could have stayed in that movie and I would have been fine.
Word.
Like, had the whole movie just been a prequel of day one, I would have been cool with it, because it was so fucking intense. Like,
and out of nowhere too, like, they were just at a baseball game.
At the baseball game,
and then shit just went to, you know what I'm saying?
And then you see the fucking meteorite coming down, and John Krasinski has talked about in interviews that basically, like, even though they're probably not going to show the origins of the aliens, in his mind, what it is their planet blew up, and they basically all survived off hanging onto the different meteorites that exploded. So that's why the meteorite that you see coming down, then they're immediately attacking us, because, like, they're falling from being on that. And
why they gotta be hostile for? Can we be friends?
Bro, the way that, honestly, for me personally, like, I don't think I've ever had a creature in a movie scare me out in so long the way these ones did. Where, like, when they came out and they started attacking, they're just tossing motherfuckers. I was bugged out, because I'm like, you
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
How do you fight that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, another genius thing that they did with this movie, in both films, but obviously we're talking about this one, was the use of the actual use of sound itself. Mm-hmm. Where like even in the beginning when he's going to the convenience store, he's just rips the plastic bag, puts the things in the plastic bag, grabs a bag of just grabs like a bag of plastic cups, like him walking around, like you're like, oh yeah, like every little thing you do makes a noise, and you don't really. It's like at least something I never really paid attention to until you're in the midst of this movie, and you're like, oh yeah, every little thing you touch will make a noise, and if these things hear you, you're fucking dead.
And like I said, I love how they utilize that, even to a bigger extent, where like they put you in the point of view of the daughter, where you can see how like what the fuck she's going through. Obviously, someone who's deaf. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a couple of scenes when like people were attacking, she didn't even notice it until she actually like looked up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I was actually just watching an interview with John Krasinski where he was breaking down the opening scene.
That was dope.
And one of the things he mentioned that I just thought was like I just want to throw this in because I thought it was a really, really nice touch that he said at the premiere of the first movie, her mom, the actress's mom, because she's deaf in real life, mm-hmm. and so when he asked her like, can she like fully hear, like not hear at all, and her mom explained to him like, oh yeah, like for her it's like everything's just really muffled, like she can hear it at a very, very low value. If something really loud hits behind her, like she can kind of hear it, and so he took that obviously into notes, and then that's how he had the idea of setting up the sound that if you're ever in a close-up of her, you're going to hear everything from her perspective. Yeah. And he said like the mom, he knew he succeeded when the mom came up to him and said like, thank you for giving me the experience of knowing what it's like to be in my daughter's shoes, mm-hmm. and in her head. And I just thought like, wow, like that's nice,
beautiful,
like, yeah. Again, like shout out to Tuna. Like shout out to Tuna. You're always going to be Tuna from The Office, but like in the best way possible. Like you're like, he's just that guy.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
And listen, 2 movies in a row of that you wrote and directed. You like people, like if you're listening out there, like really understand, to make a film is hard enough. To make a film when you have no real like experience on something of this scale of a film, like he's directed TV episodes like The Office and stuff, like, mm-hmm. but this is the first like
feature film that he's ever. Yeah.
So for him to come in and kill it 2 times in a row, it's not a small feat whatsoever. Right. It's an incredible thing what he's done, and the fact that they're original and that he wrote again, even writing a movie for a movie, and then having to translate that to the screen it's very difficult, even for seasoned, experienced filmmakers. So for him,
we gotta give some of these actors too, like Olivia Blunt and the kid, they all killed it, bro.
Emily Blunt as well.
Emily Blunt and the kid, they all freaking killed it, bro.
So this is where I want to get to, right? Yeah. So we get to so we had the opening. Also love the scene when they're in the diner and then the girl's phone goes off and he's just running her out of there like that. Yeah. Again, whole intro is perfect.
When the guy was trying to pray and he had to cover his mouth. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then we cut to then the immediate ending. Well, the beginning of this movie and the ending of the last film after she destroys the alien. She gets the kids and it's like, all right, let's get going. So they start walking. And they end up near this little facility where a trap goes off. And a bunch of, as you saw in the trailer, the bottle's clinking. That's when Emily Blunt looks at them and is like, run. Mm. Also, for anybody out there, the son in the movie is played by Noah Jupe, who, if you're, he might sound familiar. He was he played young Shia LaBeouf in his semi-biographical film, I think Honey Boy. Mm-hmm. And kills it as a young Shia LaBeouf and LaBeouf. But he also, I'm pretty sure he's also the star in Ford v Ferrari. He plays Christian Bale's son. This kid is really becoming one of the best kid actors out there that no one in terms of like the wide audience doesn't know him yet, but people who have seen his films and recognize this kid's face know like this kid's gonna be something.
He got something, yeah.
And when he steps on that bear trap and falls, his performance, like I was so like that to me was when the movie really started giving me the edge of my seat, where I'm like, oh, he's gonna die. Like immediately in my head I'm like, he's gonna die. Like there's no there is no way this screaming and like again his performance though, like that scream of like, you know, people always get hurt all the time and stuff where it's like, you know, sometimes the performance is like, oh, maybe you could have done a little bit more because it's like it would probably really, really hurt to have a whole bear trap on your fucking foot and you're a kid. Yeah, you're gonna scream your fucking head off.
Word.
And just again, like you said, the performance of Emily Blunt in that moment of just like, please be quiet, please be quiet,
like, please be quiet, please.
Yo,
like,
my heart was racing.
Because you understand where she comes. Like, what can you really do at that point? You know what I'm saying? Like, your son just got bit, but you know you got to be quiet because then you all die, right? You know,
and then when he opens that shit up, like, but again, I love how they're not. I like that they also don't not do the obvious thing. So it's like when the alien comes, like, okay, yes, he's still hurt. We can't move him right now, but all right, we still have the sound thing. You know what I mean? Like, hit the sound real quick, shoot it in the head. All right, now let's get going before the next one shows up. I just thought it was so crazy once the bear trap landed, because I did not see that coming. I did not think that was going to be a movie that they were going to make of like, you know, we're going to really injure one of the main, you know, characters right in the beginning. And so when they ended up being, so then comes in Cillian Murphy, aka Scarecrow, from Batman Begins, and Peaky Blinders. This dude fucking kills it, man.
Definitely
like he's also another one of those guys. Like he's kind of like what Noah Jupe is, but just as an adult, where it's like if you've seen his shit and you've seen Cillian Murphy in something, you know this dude's an amazing actor.
Word. It's
just not a lot of people will recognize the name and his face immediately, but it's like this dude is something else. Like and. I just thought he did such a great job of just like that tortured, like you know, like so look, I lost my kids immediately from this shit, and then watched my wife get sick and die. Like,
it's crazy how they had the body on the table when the kid found it. That was crazy. And then they never explained that either. They literally just was that and left it how that was.
And
you know what I'm saying? But like when you're alone like that, you go crazy a little bit.
And the fact that later on we see what he knows of the world compared to what they've experienced. Yeah, I get why I would not want to ever come out. Like, ever. I would never show my face for nothing. And, yeah, but the tension of just, like, the whole, like, the vault, you know, like, the few minutes that they can stay in there before they need to get air again, and, like, the whole shit with the baby, like, I thought, I was like,
when the tank was going out of the air.
Do not let this baby die right now. Like,
not little tuna.
Yeah, not little Junior Toro. Yeah, but obviously the main character of this film is his daughter, and she, again, like I think that's also why it was that Last of Us feel, because it was like that Ellie thing of just like, I'm going to go out and do what's right to save my family, because like staying here is not gonna, it's not gonna help anything.
Yeah.
And I just thought the whole shit with first off, actually a little cameo that was in there that I figured a lot of people wouldn't notice, but I did. From Batman v Superman, the guy who Scoot McKinney, he's the guy who plays the injured Metropolis guy who gets loses his legs.
Yeah.
And you know blows up the thing when Superman's there. Yeah, he was the guy. He was the main guy when all those people came out from the boat, and he was like ripped the clothes off her.
Put the thing on his neck. Yeah.
That was Scoot McKinney. So I was like, I just saw his face, and I'm like, oh, I know that actor. That's Scoot McKinney. That's crazy.
Yeah. Which I thought was cool. That's also nothing they didn't really touch on.
They did not explain.
Yeah, like the sickness that they mentioned.
They never explained what that was. And so now I'm curious, like, did these things also give, like, a disease to humans?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, there's multiple things. Because then maybe that's how his wife maybe got sick and died. You know what I mean? They never explained exactly what she got. You know.
It could be maybe they found, like, one of the dead creatures and try to eat it.
Yeah,
and
some
like,
shit.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, and the way that one creature was fucking him up on the pole, like I was just like, God damn, like he kept pulling the nigga out of the water. He's like, dude, yo, chill, like.
Word.
And I thought it was then that leading into when they get to the island. Again, you know, it's like you're sitting there, you're like, okay, on this island, they can't swim, which is again another cool note. Unlike so kind of like the aliens from Signs, where it's like, all right, we can't do water, but you know, unlike the aliens from Signs, they ain't no bitch ass and burn up from the water. They just can't swim.
They just can't swim. They just drown. Yeah.
Which I thought was like a really interesting, like I was like, oh, that actually is an interesting concept. Like they can't swim, so it's like
because there's a new planet. So how would they know?
Again, they're planting these little seeds of like, oh, there are ways to try to figure out how to kill them. It's just because everything happened so fast and rapidly and dying, and people had to go silent immediately. It was like there's no talking to get figure all this shit out. You know, there's no society to be like, hey, we figured out a way. Like, so again, for as the audience, it's nice knowing that there's like these little seeds. It's like, oh, if you guys figured that out, maybe you can save the world, but we'll never know until part 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
But when he sees the boat and then he's just like running, he's like, everybody get inside.
Shit, yeah.
You're like, yep, it's over. Like, I just
love
that.
It lasted.
Yeah, I think overall, I'm trying to say, like, I just love the tension this movie built up. Like, it was a great theater experience to be back in the theater.
I agree. Yeah.
That for me was the movie of just like, this is the feeling of being in a movie theater again. Like, just that tension, that build up, and then just that release of like, oh, okay. But like that tension in this movie is like it holds you. I mean, like you're really holding
the entire time. Yeah, even when you thought they were safe on the island, I was like, all right, something about to happen. Ain't no way. It's too peaceful.
Yeah.
You know.
And then now, and again, I love the ending of like same thing as the first one. If you want to interpret your version of what happens after, you can. If you know what I mean, like it's one of those. It leaves it perfectly open ended and tied up in a bow at the same time. Like you can end this here, and there could not be a part 3. Like it could just be this perfect like this double feature movie. Or we can come back to make a third one, and there is still more story to tell. You know, the family's separated still. You know, it's probably going to be the third one is the fact that they got to now get back to each other. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like, I mean, the brother, his leg's still fucked up, so he can't really go. Like, remember they said, like, the bandages aren't going to hold, so they need to get him somewhere where he can get help. So, there's still a lot
of... Because remember she took the
first aid kit.
First aid kit. I wonder if she still has that. Yeah. So yeah, overall, and there was that scene too, like when she woke up by those train tracks and she thought that Murphy took the shit and dipped.
Oh yeah, and I love how he came back really like, nah, bro, I just had to go shoot some things. So I got a boat. I got the boat, bitch.
Really? I found a boat.
Yeah, but even that, like the train sequence, like
that was intense.
Oh my god, like, cause you knew when she was on that train, you were just like, something going, like it's gonna pop up somewhere, like
something about to happen.
So overall, though, this movie for me is a movie that is, and also last thing I want to say is like I like unlike other movies where it's like the part 2 makes the most sense when it comes to the title. You know what I mean? Where it's like A Quiet Place 2 is like, oh, it's a sequel to A Quiet Place, but like part 2, it's like, no, this is the next chapter. Yeah. So
it literally takes place right when the first one.
So it's like it's literally a continue. It really is a part 2, like a chapter 2 type shit. Yeah. Like. And I just really appreciate, when it's like you name something like that and it's like it actually makes sense to the story of like what you're telling here. And man, I just can't wait for the third one. I think there's for sure going to be a third one.
I think so too.
And
which is crazy too, because you're going to probably wonder how John Krasinski feels. Like he thought I was going to make one movie. That'd be it, and then now all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, this inspiration for maybe a second, maybe even a third one."
I think at this point,
probably I feel good though,
I think at this point it's gonna be the bug that starts to bite him. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, you did the first one, you nailed it, you felt great, and you wanted to leave it as is because you're like, I don't like sequels. Okay. You then start writing the second one, the bug hits you, and you're like, okay, now I got to be the one to direct this. Okay, perfect. Because he said like he didn't want to make it because he's like I'm not that fond of sequels in the sense of like, it's like he said like I have all the same. Like concerns that anybody else have, like this take away from the story. This and that. Like he was breaking down like all the things of like that usual fans will worry about. That he's like you can tell like okay, like you as a movie, lover like at heart, like that it's like if I'm going to do this, I literally need to break down every little thing that people would say, and I gotta answer that. And I just thought he did a great job of just like continuing his story, and I hope he's the one who. I think he's gonna have the bug come bite him again, especially now that this one is being so well received as much as the first one, where it's like this is a perfect double feature. Like for sure, he's gonna have that bug of like, all right,
yeah, I'm gonna do one third final one,
and then move on to something else in my career. Yeah, and I think he should do it. I think it would be good, and it's crazy. Like John Krasinski has directed 2 of my favorite horror films in the last couple years. Yeah, it's like it's insane. So overall, like I said, for me the movie's a 10 out of 10, just because it's like if I got nothing really to complain about with the movie, you know what I mean? Like, and if it did its job, if I can't find like major plot holes that don't make sense, it's like, no, none of that happened, and you gave me another intense movie that, again, like now, like I was actually watching it thinking like, man, like it would be cool if he does direct the third one and it's just as good, and then like if he did like a director's like edit of it, of just kind of like a linear version of it, like starting with day one and like
make it like a 4 hour or whatever, and then just one
like
long thing.
Like one like linear shit. Like but either way, it's like I just love that when the third one comes out, and if it's as good as this, that like I have this nice little trilogy of just this great story.
I agree. I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. The 0.5 being there were some parts of the movie I thought the CGI and the monsters was kind of weird, but it didn't take away from the movie. That's why it wasn't too crazy for me. But but when you got like the close-ups to the monsters when they're like trying to creep closer and shit like that, and you got the close up in the face, fucking scary, bro.
Yeah, these creatures.
And you saw the ear like when it's trying to like hear niggas, like that shit's creepy as fuck.
It's creepy in the first one, creepy in this one.
Word.
And again, just if you guys haven't seen A Quiet Place, or just go check it out. And obviously, if you listen this far, you have seen it. But let us know what you guys thought of it. Did you guys think it could have been better? Did you think it was terrible? Like I said, I haven't met anybody yet that has yet to hate it. So I would like to hear like somebody who doesn't like it, like what didn't work for you.
I agree.
Because everything in this movie worked for me. So other than that, though, I think we can wrap this little potty up with this nice little review. Army of the Dead
and Quiet Place
part
dos.
I guess like we do like a little rumor mill real quick of some shit. The rumor mill is Spider-Man 3 apparently is gonna have the Sinister Six of the original villains. Of William Dafoe's Green Goblin, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman, Lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man, Jamie Foxx as Electro, and Paul Giamatti as the Rhino. So this is one of those things that's like I don't even want to fully acknowledge it, because to me it's like something like once you put that out in the ether and into the air, it's like I really don't want to get my hopes up.
That's what I'm trying not to like dwell on it too much.
But it's also that thing of like,
how can you
to me? But I feel like that's what it is right now, where it's like it's a lot of people reporting it, people are talking about it, but it's not a major thing, because it's that thing of like, if we start to really discuss this and this doesn't happen,
I'm gonna be very upset.
I'm gonna be so hurt. And then, and to me, like the bigger problem, and at this point though, it's like I feel like it has to be true, because I don't think Marvel and Sony and any of them would let all this stuff be floating around. Like I feel like they would nip it in the bud real quick. They wouldn't let it float around if it would take away from the movie. In the sense of like, if you let everybody think that Spider-Man 3 is gonna have all the original 3 Spider-Man and all these old villains. Well, if that happens, then, and it's not true, then mad people are going to shit on your movie for not being what they thought it was going to be.
True.
And so like even for me, like that's such an exciting thing to think about, that it's like if I go to the theater and don't see that, even though I'm not going to let it take away from the movie, it is still going to be in the back of my mind of like, damn, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. So I don't think Marvel and them would let that be out in the ether unless there was some grain of truth to it.
Yeah.
And if they can somehow pull this off in terms of no one from the, no one's really leaked this shit. I mean, obviously, the reports themselves came out from like actual journalists. It wasn't like, somebody saying, I worked on the set or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, this might be one of the best kept secrets ever in Hollywood if it is true. The original 3 Spider-Man, like you filmed that and no one said a thing.
Word. I think remember they tried to say something last year about it, but then Tom Holland lived in the place and no, it's not true. Which I thought was cap, because they don't tell Tom Holland anything. Though.
Well, see, no. Here's the thing. No, here's my thing. This is also why part of me thinks it might be true, because Tom Holland is been that guy. He's been the spoiler guy, and he knows it. And he doesn't like it. Obviously, obviously he likes joking around with it, but obviously it's like he doesn't want people to think I actually spoil everything.
Yeah,
I feel like this is part of like their marketing of just like, oh, people think Tom's a spoiled guy. So if he comes out and just says straight up like, oh, like no, like that's not true. Like they're not in it, blah blah blah. Like they're gonna be like, oh, I guess he's not lying. Like it's a nice little reverse play on like, oh no, I now went from being the spoiler guy to I literally kept the biggest secret in our fucking universe right now. So
that'd be a nice change for him.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be a funny move. It's like, haha, I tricked all you guys. Yeah. Like, I actually lied this time. Like, so, fingers crossed. Obviously, another rumor that I saw, and this is like no credit to any of this whatsoever, but the rumor is that apparently the trailer or teaser for something for it might drop Tuesday, aka tomorrow, because we're filming this on Monday. So
I guess we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess we'll see tomorrow. If not, I mean, I'm not putting any stock into it. It's probably gonna wake up tomorrow, nothing. But then again, they dropped the Eternal stuff recently, so it's like you never know. And it's Sony. Sony isn't with Marvel, so they can drop their stuff whenever they want to drop their stuff.
That's true.
And now officially, actually, as tomorrow, June 1st, we're officially 6 months away. So it would make sense to get like a little tease of something.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like it's like they're not going to show anything because they don't.
Yeah.
They don't want to show you like, hey.
I guarantee it's probably some small shit where it's gonna be him, Zendaya, and what's his name?
Ned.
Ned, yeah. Them three like doing something, like sort related to Spider-Man shit, but it has nothing to do with the story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and maybe they might just show like a little tease of Doctor Strange because we know for a fact he's in it. Type shit. Maybe like a claw. You know what I mean? Like Doc Ock's claw because we know at least for a fact he's in it. Yeah. Other than that, I think the last major. Let me just pull up my notes real quick. Very unprofessional. Oh, Cobra Kai season 4. Dropped a teaser, and the villain from Karate Kid 3 is going to be the guy that he called at the end of. They officially confirmed he's the one he called at the end of season 3.
I've yet to see the show.
Oh, I thought you watched Cobra Kai.
I've yet to watch it. I'm going to at some point, but I've yet to.
Oh, I really thought you had watched it.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's an amazing show. Amazing show. Yeah.
I like Billy Zabka. I like Billy Zabka.
Oh yeah, he's mad funny, hilarious in the show. Well, next week we'll have a review for Conjuring 3, which is getting nothing but great reviews right now. Nothing but positivity. So
that will surprise me.
Well, no. It gets me excited though because I was a giant fan of Conjuring 1. And Conjuring 2, I've actually probably rewatched Conjuring 2 more than Conjuring 1.
Yeah.
I'm personally a fan of all the other spin-offs. Like, obviously,
like the Annabelles and stuff.
Look, obviously, Annabelle 1... Actually, I actually have a love for Annabelle 1 more than most people do. I know it was, like, the most worst reviewed one, but I liked all the Annabelle movies. The only one that obviously just didn't do it for me like that much was The Nun, but just in terms of the movie itself, like The Nun herself still freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, when she first showed up in Conjuring 2, that's what I'm saying. That's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I liked La Llorona just for the fact that they promoted it as like its own movie, and then you watch it and then you're like, oh,
there's a niggas. Those are the guys.
Yeah, there's the connection. Like so.
Yeah.
I'm personally
that was a good movie. I enjoyed that one too. Yeah.
So I'm excited for the fact that the third one's coming out. It's getting a lot of praise. It's the first Conjuring movie not directed by James Wan. But he still produced it, and I think obviously had involvement in the story. But it was it's the guy who did Annabelle Comes Home, the last one that's doing Conjuring 3.
Okay.
And just the fact that a lot of these movies since Conjuring 1 the reviews just haven't come out and hit as hard until Annabelle Creation. But other than that, none of them got crazy reviews. So it's just nice to see a Conjuring movie getting early great reviews and certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes and people saying you got to go check this out. So. We'll definitely have our review for that next week. They all kill it for me every time. And Vera Farmiga is one of my favorite actresses ever. She is so fucking beautiful and just so.
You could say that again.
And she's just so good at what she does.
Facts.
And I guess last thing, Shazam 2 started filming.
I peeped that. I saw The Rock talk about it.
Yeah, well, because he's also filming Black Adam at the same time. I got a prediction that I think Henry Cavill is showing up in one of these two.
Interesting. I'd probably see him show up in Black Adam.
I think the more likely one is Shazam in terms of story. Just because, remember, Shazam ended with Superman walking up to lunch with Billy.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so it's okay, you at least confirm by the end of this one, they know each other.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling that he's either going to show up in, as Clark Kent, talking to Billy, say, in a diner or something, just about responsibilities and handling his new powers type shit. Just kind of being a mentor to him, kind of. I could see that, and because also David F. Sandberg is returning to direct, so it's like that was what he did.
Yeah.
That's your story beat that you set that you're now picking up with the sequel. So just maybe like a little cameo, but The Rock, obviously there's a chance of Black Adam. It's just I don't know what the timeline is of like when it takes place, because it might be in ancient Egypt.
Like the beginning.
Yeah. But I know obviously the Justice Society of America is supposed to be in it, so we'll have to see how that all works out. My only thing is, I don't see a world where, so if anybody who's listening out there, The Rock, his manager, is his ex-wife.
Yeah.
She's also Henry Cavill's manager.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill and him are very good friends.
Yeah.
And The Rock has been, like, do you know when The Rock was, when he got the role of Black Adam? Do you know what year it was?
Oh, wasn't that that long ago?
2007.
Yeah.
And in 2007, he was casted as both. Well, no, he was given the choice to do either.
Oh, yeah,
so
right, yeah.
between 2007 and when they finally, like, I think around 2014, 2015, during that time when they were developing the project for Shazam, they originally were like, oh, like, I'm either going, they were going to let The Rock choose. He got to pick whether he wanted to play Black Adam, Shazam, or both. And he said, like, there was multiple versions of where they were trying to figure out how that would all work. And then eventually they said, all right, we're actually splitting it. Black Adam's getting his own movie and Shazam's getting his own movie. And at first everyone was like, all right, that's going to be weird, but all right. But obviously, as we see now, it's coming together. It makes a lot of sense. But I just don't see a world where it's like, since 2007, you've been wanting to do one of these characters. And you've wanted to do Shazam or Black Adam for the fact that you get to fight Superman. You want to fight Superman, and the Superman in the universe currently is up in the air. You know, we have a black film coming down, like a black Superman movie coming down the line, and yet Henry Cavill, we don't know what he's doing. Your ex-wife, clearly your relationship is great when you look at your fucking career.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it is like, I just don't see a world where like, where his ex-wife, also just being good friends with him and marrying him for you, it's like, all right, you're finally in a position to be where you want to be as Black Adam, and my other client is the Superman that you want. Like, I just don't see a world where he doesn't fight his hardest to get Henry Cavill to be in Black Adam or Shazam, or just somehow come back so he can fight him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a world where he doesn't make that happen. And it's The Rock. He's the biggest leverage. He's the last movie star. He's the last person that when he comes out with a film, people flock at the theaters to go see it. So it's like, he's got all the leverage. That's like, if he can't get Henry Cavill back, then Warner Brothers really just hates this nigga for no reason.
Thanks.
That's all I'm gonna chop it up to. So, Shazam 2 though, it's filming. I can't wait. I love Shazam 1, and
I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, dude.
Now there's multiple Shazams.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm just like, let's get filming quick, bro. These kids is getting older. All right, we ain't about to do It Chapter 2 and DH these niggas. We're not about to do that.
That's a fact.
But nah, overall, I think it's gonna be great. And next week we'll have our Conjuring 3 review. So thank you so much for listening, guys. We appreciate you. Your host Jared.
Your co-host Alan.
And we will see you two viewers next week.